Stories have enthralled and enraptured the hearts of men, people for millennia. The Odyssey, Othello, and The Lord of the Rings, all carved indelibly into the human soul. In modern times, stories that capture the imagination have moved to the silver screen, and now streaming services. Amazon Prime's The Rings of Power is a masterclass in storytelling, beautifully written and masterfully told. It stands alongside any classical story in the pantheon of prose. If J.R.R. Tolkien was alive today, he would tip his hat and say, "Now I may rest in peace, for you have not only written a story for the ages, but bettered my own." Let's examine the masterclass in storytelling that is The Rings of Power. All great stories start at the beginning, and the original The Lord of the Rings opens with a far from ominous scene, an old white wizard in escort with a young white hobbit through a country estate. A relaxing ride, but not befitting of a suspenseful saga like The Lord of the Rings. In hindsight, Tolkien would rip that page from his manuscript and take notes from the Rings of Power writing team. In contrast, a picturesque display of white children, but some of them are female, including the effervescent Galadriel, who later goes on to defeat all the great evils of Middle-earth. These children dream of a better future, a future in which their world is no longer in the middle, but at the top of political affairs, with strong, independent women and a cast of characters diverse enough to check every box in the Oscars committee handbook. Frodo and his band of hairy-footed 3-foot friends do not meet with evil until 45 minutes into the Fellowship of the Ring. In a time of YouTube and TikTok, that is far too long. If that film were released in 2022, it would have struggled to break even in a world plagued with attention deficit disorder. The Rings of Power, at exactly the 5-minute mark, the true terrors of the Orc Kingdom are unleashed, ensuring that no viewer even thinks of turning to their phones. Faced with such dread not seen since Kubrick's The Shining, they are hooked like goldfish and only let off the hook once the show is over. In the beginning, there was Tolkien. Now there is J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay grabbing attention and keeping it, whether you like it or not. At the heart of The Lord of the Rings is the Two Towers, a tale of two towers, two hobbits, and too much. Large swathes of the film are filled with scenes of talking trees, little green men, and a typical white love affair. Until the CGI battle at Helm's Deep, the story is a blur, for one seldom remembers it. The Two Towers, so proudly the story's namesake, scant mention. If this were released today, it would certainly be sued for false advertisement. At a runtime of 2 hours and 59 minutes, a better title would have been The Lord of the Rings, The Too Long One. The midsection of The Rings of Power has more strength and vitality than an Instagram model six-pack, for there is the Pirates of the Caribbean, Cleopatra, Spartacus, I'm Spartacus! And even The Lion King. The moment the orcs instruct the peace-loving elves to cut down the old tree is a revelation, drawing parallels with the destructive power of industrial white men in Avatar. After spending $1 billion, the highest amount ever spent on a television production, the visual effects are sublime. Any CGI, if at all, is undetectable to the human eye. A VFX team like ILM can only look on in awe and wonder. In rewatches of The Rings of Power, each moment is to be savoured, devoured, and chewed through again and again. The Two Towers is to be fast-forwarded until Legolas goes skateboarding. Both the beginning and the middle of The Rings of Power are crafted to perfection by the skilled writing team at Amazon headquarters. The original film trilogy concludes with the return of a white male king, the accidental destruction of a ring, and Ghostbusters. A satisfying resolution to the saga in 2003, but modern audiences expect their television to not only entertain, but rid the world of its sins. The Rings of Power swoops in with Whiteout to progress Tolkien's work and erase the mistakes of the past. Muriel, a queen for all peoples of Middle-earth, No mention of any rings at all, and a protagonist who makes Frodo and Sam look like Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men. A strong, independent woman such as Galadriel is far too strong and independent for a ring, either in marriage or forged from the fires of Mount Doom. Indeed, if she was the one tasked with destroying the ring, she'd have made it there and back again in half a day, with ample time for supper and a big dessert. The Rings of Power is set to finish with a bang. Galadriel versus Sauron in an epic climactic battle for Middle-earth, in which it is finally revealed that it was not Isildur who rid the ring from his evil finger, but the one woman to rule them all, Princess Galadriel. History becomes history, with her story now taking centre stage. The Lord of the Rings is deep, but while the thematic depth of the original works could fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool, the Rings of Power could fill the Mariana Trench. Pride and courage, fate and free will, good versus evil, all lofty ideas, but the Rings of Power takes those themes and runs with them into progressive new directions. The real courage in a modern Middle-earth is to be a woman in a time of perilous male ignorance and power. The Battle of the Black Gate pales in comparison with the eternal battle all non-straight white males face against straight white male privilege. Galadriel says to Queen Muriel, "It is because of the elves you were given this island." Even the fairest of them all is not free from viewing history through a privileged white lens. Our ancestors were not given anything. They paid for this isle with the blood of their kin. "What the elf means?" Mansplaining. The strong, independent elf shoots it down. "Your white male power is useless here. One way or another I will depart. You are welcome to try." It appears the male accepts that the time of conversation domination is over. It's time to listen with both ears and speak with a mouth closed in the presence of women. Until he cannot hold back any longer, feeling a raging fire inside compelling him to interject with logic and reason. "My friends, perhaps it would be better if we stayed for a few days." The request is met with queen scorn, but King Pharazôn complies. White male privilege prevails, even in a land as equitable as Middle-earth. The Rings of Power casts a shadow over Sauron and shines a light so bright on the issues plaguing the human race today. Tolkien's themes are left in their quake. Oscar-winning performances illuminate the screen in The Rings of Power. Take Galadriel, for instance. No matter the scene or situation, her face remains stoic. A dramatic fight to the death? Check. A lucky escape from the jaws of Jaws? Check. Delivering an inspirational speech to her people? Check, check, check. The many faces of Galadriel are not many, they are singular, because she understands that true acting comes from the eyes, from the dialogue, from the heart, and not from changing expressions. Such impressive acting feats are matched all across the showcase story of the Rings of Power. Some critics may say that such acting is more wooden than the Ents, more hollow than a hollow Middle-earth, but more enlightened viewers understand that less is more. A lot more. Stories have the power to change the world, and in the case of the Rings of Power, they have changed Middle-earth forever. Never again will modern viewers bear terrible witness to returns of kings, downtrodden females, and more than 5 minutes of exposition. The modern update, like all great updates, is transformatory, revolutionary, and absolutely pivotal in the course of human development. The Rings of Power is the one show to rule them all, a blueprint for a brighter future in all television productions. Storytelling will never be the same again. The world will never be the same again. Thank you, Amazon, for sharing this incredible storytelling gift with the world. Homer, Shakespeare, Tolkien, and now Jeff Bezos. We salute you.